All right, we're on air. Happy June 29th, everybody. This is a check-in on community outreach for Backdrop CMS. A couple of things to talk about today. The website, we're working on homepage and navigation changes. I know Wes has a ton of work on his computer. I don't know how close it is to being done, but I have a feeling it's pretty close. So hopefully we'll get to roll that out pretty soon. The showcase is also, we have designs, we have a content type, we have minimal content, we don't have a landing page. I'm kind of itching to get some progress on that. At the last few events that we went to, people were asking to see sites built on Backdrop, and not having that up is starting to be a little bit of a problem. So I'll try and talk to Wes about where, like, if building that, the styles for that view needs to be done in a different place than on the current theme, or how he wants to handle that. And maybe then we can get the homepage and the showcase done kind of around the same time. If I work on that and he works on the other thing. So waiting for that. Anyone who's interested in helping Backdrop with content, we have a content strategy map in the issue queue. Right now, the issue is issue number 349, and it just talks about where we're going to put letters or post it on the blog or create a video to talk about it. We definitely could use feedback on that. We also could use help generating the content. So if anyone wants to know what content we need, that's a great place to look to figure it out. Speaking of content, I think we have a newsletter scheduled to go out tomorrow that's going to showcase, Tom, your blog post from DrupalCon, as well as the one on contributed modules. I noticed there's a new blog post up, but it's a community spotlight. I'm going to see if we can get a little highlight from that into the newsletter that goes out tomorrow as well, even if it's just like a check out the fact that we have community spotlights kind of thing. I think that would add something to the newsletter.
Awesome.
And speaking of that, I read it over this morning. It's fantastic. I think you did a really good job. I love the photo. I love the kind of interview of it where it's just like, we ask these questions, and it helps kind of build a bigger picture, a richer understanding of who people in our community are and what they're doing. So I love it. I can't wait to see more.
I'm looking at Doc Wilmot is going to be the next one.
Okay.
I had Jeff pick whoever he wanted the next interview to be. So yeah. If you get interviewed, you get to pick the next one.
Yeah, I think that's great.
All right. Well, thank you. Yeah, he actually provided most of the content, so all I really did was make a few changes to it, and it was awesome. So a matter of about 10 or 15 minutes. That's
what I like to hear.
It was easy.
Having it be easy and come out fantastic is a good combination. So the only other thing, I guess there's the only other thing that I think we should be thinking about in terms of outreach is places other than Backdrop's website and Backdrop's Twitter and Backdrop's YouTube where we could be talking about Backdrop. So I don't have any ideas off the top of my head, but doing things like writing a blog post on other companies' blogs, or sending notices to PHP communities as opposed to Drupal communities, stuff like that, going to web developer meetups, anything where we can do outreach that reaches beyond the people that already know about us, I think would be good. I don't know, Tom, if you have any ideas about that, but if anyone who's watching this video has ideas about how we can reach those people, I'm more than interested in hearing those and trying to figure out where else we can talk about Backdrop. Speaking of events, which is the next thing on the list here, I don't know that we have any upcoming events. I know there's a Drupal Camp Colorado, I think at the end of July. I don't know if anyone's going to be attending it, but based on the last two events that Nate and I attended over the last few weeks, there were a lot of people at Drupal events who came to our sessions or our training that had never heard of Backdrop before. So I think that we need to do a little bit of a better job of reaching out to the existing Drupal community as well. It was fantastic to have people who walked into the room and had never heard of it before and then left the room completely impressed with what they'd seen. And I think that the more we can kind of reach out to the Drupal community and be like, hey, we have this thing. It's just like this thing you love. You might like it too. That would be a great way to introduce Backdrop. But again, I don't know how those people normally get their news. So trying to figure out how to reach them could be tricky. I think that's it. There is an item on here under events that's talking about like whether Backdrop should have our first event or not, perhaps this year, and perhaps doing an online format could be really interesting. And Jonathan Dagerhart talked a little bit about volunteering to run or organize something like that later this year. So if anyone has any ideas about what an online conference might look like or how we might want to organize one, that would be good to start kind of percolating on and see if we can come out with a way to make that work for everyone. Because most of us are really distributed. Having an in-person event is great, but it's hard sometimes for people to get there. So trying to figure out how to do an online conference, I think especially now while the community is small and everybody is really spread out, might be a really great way to kind of kick off Backdrop events. So good for that. All right, Tom, I've been gone for the last 2 weeks. Is there anything cool or exciting that I've missed that you want to fill me in on and what's going on in the world of Backdrop?
Not really. Not that I know of. I was on vacation. I was on vacation last week too, and I'm about ready to be gone for another week. So I was playing catch up the past 3 days. So
fair enough. I know we had a security release last week, coordinated with the Drupal security team, and then a couple security releases yesterday, coordinated with Contrib. Everything seems to be going as expected. Update your stuff if you need to. All right, well, if there's nothing else, then let's go ahead and wrap this nice short meeting from today, and we will hop back on in half an hour to talk about development tasks.
Sounds great.
Thanks for joining.
No problem.